Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy United People's TV here to kick off another week, and we have got a busy week. We've got Lyon on Thursday, the biggest game that we've got left this season, unless we get through the quarters, and then the semi-finals are. We'll speak about that game yesterday. Look, let's not pretend anybody that we went into that game with United being 13th in the table and with City being nowhere near anything this season, that it was going to be a huge spectacle, an incredible... Nah. Probably was a bit more dull than I thought it was going to be. But I was not expecting... apparently Keane was yesterday. Apparently Neville was. I'm going to run through their comments. I'm going to have a little conversation about them. Amorim's response. We'll speak about individuals, speak about Bruno, Casemiro, Yoro, Garnacho. You can let me know what you think in the chat, as you always do. We'll speak about the Lyon game a little bit later in the show. Should be a busy one. I will say here, there won't be a live show tomorrow because I've got to leave after this live and head to my flat in London for 2 days of just grimness. Removals, deep cleaning up the absolute abomination that scumbag of a tenant left behind. I'm still dealing with that. And hopefully I'm trying to complete on a house this week. Everything is still happening. Give me something, please. Give me something. The amount of patience I've had. I've normally got a decent fuse. I've got a short fuse right now. So I might lose it this morning. Let me see who's here from the mods and the members. And let's get into the show. All right. Good morning to you, Stephanie and Carl. Hopefully keeping the chat civil down there, as you always do. Ant, you're there too. Josh, I can probably see you hiding there in the corner. We've got Teresa, Captain T1, Volpez, Rex. We've got Scott. We've got Toby coming in there, gifting 5 this morning. I tell you what, we are just shy of 5,000 subs away from 500,000. I can't wait for that, man. It's going to be a fun ride. It really, really will be. I know. It's shocking, Ashwin. It's absolutely shocking. But yeah, we've got... I've got a busy week ahead. So let's get into the show because I've got to leave ASAP Rocky. Now, I'm going to start with the biggest story this weekend, which has got absolutely nothing to do with the first team. Did anybody watch United's under-18s in action against Leeds Saturday morning? Why didn't you? Yes, you're reading that score correctly. United's under-18s won 13-1. And they beat them 8-0 earlier this season. So over the course of 2 games, they beat them 21-1 on aggregate. You can see the scorers there. Victor Musa got himself a double hat-trick. Jim Thwaites got himself a hat-trick. Ibrahimov, I think, got himself a hat-trick of assists. Is he only down there with 2 assists? I thought he got a hat-trick of assists. And then JJ Gabriel came on to be the youngest ever debutant for United's under-18s as 14, and he scored 2 goals. 13-1. Unbelievable. Just annoyed they got 1, really. I don't know how they got that into a highlights video. But the under-18s, to bounce back from the disappointment of the FA Youth Cup and getting knocked out by Villa on penalties, because they weren't particularly good there, they go and score 13 against Leeds. And they were 9-0 up at half-time. Lot to love about the under-18s this season. A quick roundup of the results this weekend. Are there any shocking results in that? I mean, who cares? I can only speak for myself. And of course, as a United fan, why wouldn't you check out of the Premier League this season, man? I've been checked out of the league for a long-ass time. I don't even care that Liverpool lost away to Fulham. Oh, no. It delays Liverpool winning the title. I must celebrate this. No, I don't care. Brentford, Chelsea, no. Bleh. Let's get into the game yesterday, right? Let's waste no time because it was... Like my prediction, my optimistic prediction was 2-1 United, sort of squeaky bum time sort of game, but that would require United to be able to find the back of the net, which they couldn't do. It was a game where, look, let me know what you think in the chat, right? Honestly, how did that game go versus your expectations going into it? Because I'd be amazed if there was any United fans going into that game, like, genuinely thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be a classic. Like, we're 13th. We're 13th, man. We're awful. As a team. City, they're what, 5th? Don't really know. It almost played like two teams who have nothing to play for in the league. Funnily enough, it's exactly what it was. Dad, you're saying it went exactly how you thought. Chippy saying, glad we got a point. Nikhil saying, boring game. We had chances. Second game in a row where simply if United just were better at finishing, it's another, I say an easy win, but we would have beaten Forest and we would have beaten City simply if we just took our chances. You know, in the way that we set up in that game, a lot of it was about containment of City, certainly in that first half. But still, we had the better attack. We had the better build-ups. We had the better chances. It wasn't as if we were just sat on the edge of our own box and just hoofing it long. It was a good display from the team sitting 13th. Spot and Sam, no rewards from the game. Josh saying, went into the game thinking we could win it. I do think we were the better team. I do think we were the better team. Now, can I just say this? Maybe there's going to be people that get offended by this, but, you know, it is what it is. How is there so much outrage about those chants against Phil Foden and his mum, right? Seriously, can somebody please tell me in the comments? It's the sort of chant that you would hear if you're playing football at lunchtime in year 9. Miss. Yeah, Sam called my mum fat. Can you get a little parents meeting going on? Hey, mate, it's as innocent as a derby chant we'll ever get. It's like, it's not even football, it's just sport. But yeah, you might get offended at the fact that this happens in English sports and doesn't happen elsewhere. It's just like, I can't believe it. There's more chat after this weekend about the fact that United fans were rude to Phil Foden's mum than the 115 charges against City. That's some deflection tactic. That is some deflection tactic. Anyway, it just made me laugh. Honestly, it's a year 9 conversation. It's called my mum fat. And no, it's not. It's not about being a snowflake. I know. Look, I hate that word snowflake because then you get into all the conversations I'd never want to get into. It's Pep Guardiola just protecting his player, but the faux outrage about it is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Right. Let's go into the sort of wider conversation that exists. Why is this microphone not sitting right? There you go. That's better. After the game, right? Roy Keane, as chipper as always, saying United's progress under Ruben Amorim is still not good enough after the draw with City. Roy, can you find me on paper at any point where Amorim said it was good enough? Or ever has said that it's good enough? Gary, talking about United needing 5 new signings to suit Amorim's system. Wrong. It's not about signings that suit Amorim's system. It's just United just need better footballers. Simple. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the fact that whether we play 3 at the back or 4 at the back or 5 at the back or 6 at the back. Like, we just need better footballers. We just need players who are closer to Bruno Fernandes's level. He was out on his own, pretty much across the whole pitch yesterday, not just United. Bruno Fernandes was the outstanding player between City and United. It was a game that was just bereft of quality. It's not to do with players who don't suit the system. It's just maybe that's exactly what he's saying. Maybe that's exactly what you're saying. But it's what Amorim said in response to Gary in his comments.
I understand everything. I understand that Keane Neville is critical about everything, so I understand that part. And then I understand that we are not fighting. We are in the moment that we are doing the worst season in history. Manchester City won everything in the past. This season is struggling, so we are not in the best moments to give the best spectacle to every fans.
I really appreciate that Keane and Neville, and I spoke about this when I did the video, the video that came out, the little mini doc on United's legends, and I said, I understand that this is coming from the right place. This is coming from two players who are modern legends of our club, who have given everything to it and have reaped the rewards as a consequence. In a Manchester United which was entirely different to the Manchester United which Ruben Amorim is in charge of. But I just find it frustrating, man. I just find it frustrating that the former players, it's not that they're first to twist the knife or first to stick the knife in, but it's just like Amorim doesn't help Manchester United in any way, shape or form to see you leading the charge against it. Yeah, JC saying they're being paid to comment, so they do. What do you expect? And again, that part I understand. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Neville taken away from United games. Carragher, you know how it was sort of seen as I don't know how to describe it, but when Carragher came on to co-commentate on Liverpool games, it was kind of new and it was quite fun. Same with Neville on United games because they were fans of those clubs and it really came across in their commentary. But it's in the way, and this might be slightly ironic me putting this up, right? Gary Neville here when he's talking about how frustrated he is that Premier League footballers seemingly are becoming more robotic and you're taking away the exciting elements of footballers by pushing them into systems. It's kind of exactly how Gary Neville's commentary style has gone. When he came into commentary, he had that edge that made him funny. Those noises that he was making at celebrations, the fact that he was a United fan, and he wasn't able to hide the fact that he was a United fan. And the longer he has gone on in commentary, the longer he's been sort of polished and molded and rounded into a commentator now who shows absolutely no signs of being a United fan, who is so on the fence that it hurts and will just kind of refuse to say anything really positive about United now because he's become that middle pundit. It's almost everything that he's moaning about there when it comes to Premier League footballers becoming robotic is exactly what Gary Neville has done when it comes to punditry. Because you have to toe the line. You have to be sort of down the middle. I'm going to go on. What's all your sort of reactions to all this? You know what? What I would say is the fact that this is the main conversation on a Monday morning after the Premier League weekend. It really does sum it all up, right? Bring on the end of this season. My God. We've been saying this for some time. But Lyon is all we've got left. I haven't cared about a Premier League game. When was the last Premier League game you cared about? How many weeks ago was it? What game was it where the Premier League season was over for United? Let's have a quick look. Feels like a while ago. I can't remember what result it was, but it was a result. Let's have a look. No, give me the results. Thank you. Forest, no. Leicester, no, it wasn't that. Arsenal, no, not really. Fulham was in the FA Cup. Beating Ipswich. Was it Arsenal? Maybe it was Spurs. I don't really know. Either way, we're back to February. Bournemouth, someone saying down there. When was Bournemouth? I can't remember when Bournemouth was. When was Bournemouth? Have I missed it? Sod knows, don't care. Either way, this is kind of the point. This is kind of the point. That all these sort of just bring on the end of the season, man. Bring on the end of the season. I think United fans would say that, and the overwhelming majority of the Premier League would say that as well. Right? We go down here. I don't know when Bournemouth was. Right, let me see if I missed any super chats. And let me just see what you're saying about just kind of this whole reaction from Gary Neville and just the wider punditry, I suppose. Cavani saying, why doesn't Giggs train Garnacho? Because he's got nothing to do with the club. Big Mouth saying, Mark saying the win was taken from us. I don't know what that means. Sorry, mate. Jibat, you're saying, I don't buy the idea that we need 10 players better than the current lot. Our mediocre players leave United and turn into ballers. For example, McTominay, Marcus, or Anthony. I don't really understand anybody who looks into how players do away from United. You know, when Amorim said, what was it? Something about players, they had their chance at Manchester United and they didn't take it. I think that's what he said. Something along those lines is exactly how I feel. The spotlight at United burns so much brighter than other clubs. That's why players go elsewhere and they feel like a relief, because it is a relief, because the spotlight is less. I don't care what players do at other clubs. I don't care how many goals Rashford scores. If he doesn't do it at United, well, anymore. Right, let me go to read some of your comments. He has a point, though. Football has gotten very robotic. Is that really something that's just happened this season? Or is that just something that's been happening over a long period of time? We certainly are more interested. Well, we spend a lot more time talking about systems, about tactics, about approaches, about styles of play, about set pieces. We spend a lot of time talking about the intricacies of football and the setups, rather than just simply the football itself. I think that's pretty much true. Big Mouse saying Mark said the win was taken from us. Excuse me. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. I don't really care, and his name's Brent, so let's not forget that. Once they leave, they aren't United's problem. How has Rashford become a baller at Villa? So I think it's just people just trying to sort of find something to moan about. And I say this quite a lot, right? Whether it's Roy Keane, like whether it's Gary Neville, whether it's anybody else, the easiest position in life, not just about sport, but the easiest positions, just to moan about what you want. Moan about something. Just moan about what you're looking at. Don't present a solution to it. Just moan. Just shout about it. Because it's very, very easy to shout about it. What you're looking at with Ruben Amorim is somebody who's actually trying to create a solution. We want to be competitive in a short period of time, but to be dominant against any opponent, it will take time. Ruben has said on so many occasions this season, it's not how I want to play. I don't like the fact that United are more comfortable in a low block, but I have to admit, United are more comfortable in a low block. I really don't want that to be the case. 1 second there. Everything hinges on Lyon. Boy, man, that game has got so much riding on it. Sorry, I just sniffed right into the mic there. My bad. JC is saying, let's not expect miracles from day one next season, please. An improvement, but not miracles. You know what would be a miracle? United winning 3 games in a row. You know, we've not won 2 games in a row in the Premier League this year. That is a stat that will make you sick. Completely true, though. So, yeah, how about, we win a couple of games? How about, we score some goals? Like all the narrative and conversation that has existed after Forest, now after City, that will exist this week, going into Lyon, all completely changes if we just take a couple of the chances we created. And it's kind of like, again, we've had these conversations all season long. If the problem isn't, like the problem, it kind of changes. Sometimes there's games where United simply can't create a chance. And it's awful. And the ball's being played around the defence, around the midfield, and then it goes towards the attack, then it comes straight, and it's awful. United in the last couple of games against Forest and City have created plenty of goal-scoring opportunities and have not taken them. So if the problem's not chance creation, the problem is chance finishing, and you just kind of move the problem forward. And thank you very much for sending in that super chat. And again, this is something that Roy Keane doesn't want to talk about. That Roy Keane simply won't speak about. Genuinely, United in the last 5 games now, starting with Arsenal, then Sociedad, then Leicester, then Forest, then City. United have been better. Given what you're comparing it to is United being absolutely god-awful, which is correct. But United have been better. And had United's finishing simply... I'm not even talking about, give me like a 100% conversion rate. If we had like a 20% conversion rate against Forest, we probably would have won the game. City, probably the best opportunity went to Garnacho with that header that he just completely mistimed. That penalty, I thought it was a penalty right at the beginning. Man, that should have been a goal right at the start. Right at the start of that game. And look, Jonathan, again down there, right? And this is probably the big thing that's frustrating me. Like Brett, you're saying, "Oh, come on, we're grasping at straws." No, dude. What we're doing here is speaking about progression. What Roy Keane is doing here is sitting from a position of, man, I was United's best captain in the league. We won titles. Therefore, if United aren't doing what I was doing and doing it right now, then those standards are not good enough. And they aren't good enough. But that sort of, and that's why, imagine Roy Keane in the dressing room trying to bring those standards, which are completely unachievable right now. And it's almost like Roy Keane can't see or doesn't want to see baby steps. Doesn't want to see small steps. It has to be, United have to be what I remember them being. And if they're not, then I'm just going to keep shouting about it until they are. That's what it feels like to me when I hear Roy Keane speaking about United now. And sometimes Gary Neville too. You might not want to say it. You might be angry. United played out a dull draw. Literally, we have been better in the last 5 games than we were in the 5 games previous. And if our finishing was better, we would have beaten City. We would have beaten Forest. And the whole conversation would have been very, very different. The whole conversation would have been very, very different. Let me see what else you're saying down here in the chat. I know that not everyone's going to agree with me on this one, but these are just sort of the debates and arguments that exist around football, right? Alex is saying, disappointed but not surprised that the pundits couldn't see how Amorim beat Pep with those tactics yesterday. Players just couldn't execute in the final third. And this is something I'm going to cover this in my sort of 5 things we learned from the City game. That's going to be going out at lunchtime today. Right? Amorim has said on multiple occasions that this is not how I want United to set up. But what he has done on multiple occasions this season, right? And this is something that I want you to think about. When we've approached the likes of City at home, City away as well, Arsenal away, and Liverpool away, right? And you think about how Amorim has set United up in those games. We've really soaked up pressure. We've hit well on the counters. We deserved the result at Anfield. We got the win at City away. Big up, Ahmed. Man, I miss Ahmed so much. You're talking about these robotic footballers. I think Ahmed's just it's like a maverick. Man, I need Ahmed back so badly. Anyway. And we got the result away at Arsenal despite having 10 men. And we didn't get the result we wanted there against City. But the point is, Amorim has shown in these big games that he can set his team up differently and disciplined and can still have a threat going forward. Now, this season, right now, it's being seen as, it's so boring. It's awful. It's crap. Next season, if United do start having more control and more dominance in other games, then it will be seen as an asset. It will be seen as a plan B that can be used in games where you need to play slightly different. And it's worked. In the big games this season, against Liverpool, against Arsenal, against City, United were getting absolutely minced under Ten Hag. We were getting ripped to shreds, and it was embarrassing. This is a step in the right direction, and a step towards, ultimately, what Amorim wants is United dominating these games. United not having to sit on the back foot. In 2 years' time, it's going to be City who are sitting on the back foot because they can't contain United. But you can't get there overnight. And this is the thing he just keeps... He must be bored of saying it by now, man. He really, really must be bored. And I'm kind of bored of explaining it. This isn't what Amorim wants in the long term. But he's willing to just keep taking the baby steps where possible. But it's like Keane and Neville, it's like they either don't want to see it or they can't see it. Either way, just kind of find it a bit annoying that you just have to be... Man, we're finishing like 13th in the league this season. This is the worst season we're ever going to have. I mean, I hope so. We thought the last season was going to be the worst season. Oh, Dylan, don't talk about Elise. It's going to make me upset. I think he was the first name on my... If I go back to who I wanted to sign last summer, I think Elise was top of my list. Absolutely crushed it out there, man. But then Ahmed has been exciting on the right side as well. This is us until the summer, people, right? Just is. Garnacho and Højlund, they're not just... Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I don't think they will. Maybe they're going to find their goal-scoring form brilliant, and they're going to start scoring goals galore. I don't think they will. I'll tell you somebody who's impressed me. You're going to have a little conversation here. Jonathan, you need to stop talking about Eze. You're going to get a restraining order in the comments at some point. Casemiro yesterday was fantastic. Made more tackles in a Premier League game on record for United since Owen Hargreaves. No, the joint most. And this is what Amorim said when he was speaking about Casemiro after the game, right? This is quite important.
Theory before, but now he seems to be, a pretty major feature of it. What does that show for next season? Obviously, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He said he wants to stay, but he's on big wages. How has he come back into your thinking?
We need the important thing is that Casemiro, he won everything with Real Madrid. He wasn't playing because I understood in the moment that he was not the best option to the way we want to play. But he continued to work. So I look at my players in the same way. If you work, if you improve what we ask of them, they have the opportunity.
Simple as that. Doesn't matter who you are. You might be a multiple Champions League winner. You might be an academy player coming through. You might be somebody like Garnacho. If you're not putting the work in, you're not going to be in the team. If you're putting the work in, you come back in the team. Kari's saying Casemiro putting himself in the shop window. I don't know, right? It may well be that Casemiro realises that you can take a cynical look at it if you want, right? My point on Casemiro, two points. Number one, he deserves the praise. Casemiro was an absolute shadow of himself early this season. Shouldn't have been in the team. Wasn't in the team. Was correctly left out of the team. What Casemiro is doing in the last... probably 4 or 5 games, something like that. He's been much better. He's definitely been working on his own fitness. But it doesn't change what my opinion of Casemiro in the summer is. Manchester United need to take Casemiro to the side, say, thank you very much for everything you've done in the United shirt, man. Shake your hand. But we're going to be moving on to a new midfielder this summer. We're going to be trying to find a new club for you, and I hope and wish you all the best. Casemiro in that system yesterday, where Manchester United sat very compact. He had Ugarte alongside him as a partner, You had the wing-backs that were quite close and tight. You had not too much space in front or behind Casemiro. It allowed Casemiro the freedom to tackle. And it allowed him the freedom to lunge, right? And he nailed it yesterday. His timing was impeccable with those tackles. Absolutely impeccable. But that's not something that you can sustain across or every single game. You're expecting Casemiro to get 11 out of 12 duels that he's winning, and every single tackle is bing, perfect timing, bing, perfect timing. No, he just had a very good game. Doesn't change my opinion on whether or not Casemiro should be a Manchester United player next season. But it helps United if Casemiro can maintain this form until the end of the season. Kim, you're saying Casemiro won't be leaving this summer. He wants to see out his contract, and of course he does. And it might well be that United find themselves screwed again by another ridiculous contract situation. Whether it's Martial before, it's going to happen with Luke Shaw. It's happening with Marcus Rashford. No idea what's going to happen with Anthony, but I think his wages are less than what they were. And there's other players you can throw into this as well. If I was Casemiro, why would I want to leave? Why would I walk away from a contract that's 350 grand a week that I probably won't get anywhere else apart from Saudi? And right now, I kind of still feel like I want to be here. Because as soon as you step to Saudi, it's the beginning of your retirement, effectively. Because you're stepping away from elite football, you're stepping away from the pressures of Premier League football, and you might be getting more money elsewhere. But let's be honest, Casemiro, money is not what he needs. Not after the career he has had. And Tyler's saying that keeping Casemiro for another season wouldn't be a bad thing. Look, people can say what they want, right? Do I think the presence of Casemiro for other players to learn from would be a bad thing? No, I don't think that at all. Do I look at that wage bill, which is the single... I don't know what the single biggest bloody problem is at our football club anymore. I really don't. I really have no idea. But I can't look at that wage bill and see Casemiro and put a tick next to it and say justified. Because it's not. It's absolutely not justified. Should have put that on silent. It's absolutely not justified. And it can't be, it won't be, but if Casemiro doesn't want to leave, then United might struggle to find another club for him. It might be the exact same situation. All right? Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Jude saying Casemiro's got one more year left. Let him run down his contract. He'll be the player with experience. People are talking about experience. He's on 350 grand a week. Anybody who's on that money, boy, they better be banging in like 20, 30 goals for you, man. They better be the best central midfielder in the world. They better be an absolute dominant centre-back. They better be one of your best players. Let me put this on silent now. My phone's always on silent. How did that sneak off silent? All right. It's because I've got to go to the flat and got to sort some stuff out. You can't justify those wages, right? No matter how good he is as an experienced player, but fair play to him. And it's good to see him finding some form. Varane, yeah, we had to wait until his contract ran down. I really hope that Ineos somehow managed to put a lid on this, man. I mean, I don't know the wage structures of other clubs. I don't really care, right? But I just refuse to believe that Liverpool or City or Chelsea probably do because they're nuts. That these clubs have got so many high earners who just aren't central figures in their team. It's a mad amount of money. It really is. But he did play well yesterday. As did this lad, right? Yoro, for me, is starting to... No, Mason Mount wasn't an Ineos signing. Mason Mount was Ten Hag's second season. That was 200 grand, wasn't it? No, 250. 200, 250? Don't know. Yoro is starting to express himself. I think that's the way I would describe it with Yoro. If you were to go and watch the highlights of Yoro's first few games in a United shirt, you'll see a lot of safe passing. Turn sideways, pass to a teammate. Don't really face the opposition too much. Just make sure you maintain possession. Make sure you get used to your environment. You get used to where you are. And then you look at Leny Yoro now and how he's playing. He's far more progressive. With how he brings the ball forward from defence. I'm not a top-tier football pundit in any way, shape or form, but it's just so abundantly obvious that Manchester United just need better ball carriers, better ball progressors, because you can bring the ball up the pitch in two ways. One, you can pass it forward. Two, you can just dribble. You just dribble forward. You bring the ball forward. And Yoro did that on multiple occasions yesterday, and also he's starting to find the diagonals. There was one pass that was into Bruno, which I've been crying out for our defence, and Anna in particular, to do more often. I don't know why he doesn't do it. Yoro had a lovely little clipped ball that was about 20 yards over the first line of City's press into Bruno, who was in acres of space in midfield. Bruno had enough time to turn on the ball and then start an attack. I don't know why our centre-backs, and I don't know why Onana in particular, doesn't find that pass more often. Is it because our central midfielders are getting marked out of the game? I don't quite know what it is. But it's always frustrated me because Onana just like boots it long. Everyone always goes for the far diagonal when sometimes it's a little clipped ball boop, over the first press into midfield can start an attack lovely. Really good from Yoro, man. And he spoke about it after the game. Like, if I can move the ball forward, it's good for us. The coach has asked me to do it, and I can do it. Really enjoying what I'm watching with Leny Yoro. And look, I've got to wrap this one up because we haven't got long today. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. I'll tell you the plan for the week. There unfortunately won't be a live show tomorrow. I know. Shoot me. But there will be a 5 things we learned against City coming today at lunchtime. Tomorrow, there won't be a live show. Apologies. But there will be a video on Garnacho. I think it's time to have a conversation about Garnacho. All right. Then on Wednesday, we'll be back here live and direct. Live show on Wednesday, and then the big one. The Lyon starting 11. That's coming out on Wednesday. And Wednesday, by the way, ladies and gents, is the 10-year anniversary of United People's TV. And boy, do we have a special video planned. I'm so excited for this video. I really, really hope that you like it. I really hope it resonates with people because, honestly, I think this video that will be going out on Wednesday, you know how I say that like an ultimate ambition for United People's TV is to kind of get towards becoming like the Netflix of United content. This video that we're going to be bringing out on Wednesday is a big step towards that. It's very different to the mini docs that we've done before. And I really hope that you enjoy it. 10 years, by the way, is nuts. 10 years is nuts. And we'll be having some fun in the live show as well. Hopefully we'll have a look. We can look back at some old stuff. Just have some fun. All right. But that game on Thursday, boy. Lyon won at the weekend, by the way. Cherky was on the bench, came off the bench. I think it was an injury. He scored the winner. They won 2-1. I think they've won 4 at the last 5. They might have won 5 or 6. I don't know. Appreciate everyone in the comments saying good luck with the move. Someone's asking there how the leg is. We're significantly better. I've been doing some hard training these last 2.5 months. All right. So no live show tomorrow. Apologies. And look, one final comment here. Keane, I know that Keane is coming from a good place. He's coming from a place of wanting to see Manchester United back on top. But it's almost like Keane either can't see or doesn't want to see small steps of progress. And the only way that he'll be happy is if United are perfect. And that feels like an unrealistic approach to looking at Manchester United right now. Because we have been better in these last 5 games, even if there is mega frustration still at the fact that we can't finish our dinner. Because that's been the biggest problem in these last 2 games. All right. If we could finish against Forest, we would have won. If we could finish against City, we would have won. Very different to how we've been coming out of games so far, really, majority of the season. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Have a cracking day. I'll be back live on Wednesday. Make sure you check out the lunchtime videos for today and tomorrow. I'll speak to you soon.